Hello, y'all, and welcome to the BIRTHFIT podcast. We've got some amazing guests coming on, and I will let them in the studio in just a second. But first, we have a few announcements. Let me pull them up. The first announcement is that my little one is here with us. Her ideal nap time was about 40 minutes ago, and she's raging today. So we'll see how that goes. She's just super interested in podcasting. Anyways, for those of you that don't know my voice, I'm Lindsey Matthews Cantu. Cantu is my married name. I'm the BIRTHFIT founder and CEO, but more importantly, your podcast host for today. This podcast is brought to you by our nonprofit organization, BIRTHFIT for Everyone. And if you have not been over to that website lately, go visit it, nonprofit.birthfit.com. We've changed everything up, even the website, made it look a little nicer. We had to update it. You have to update your website like every year these days. But our mission is to support women that are active duty military and or their partner husband is active duty military. And it's something that's been near and dear to our heart for a while here at BIRTHFIT. And we've had tons of participants that have been in our program that have used the BIRTHFIT postpartum package to get back to their physical fitness level for the military. Tons of women that have been traveling with their husbands. So it's been something that's been on our radar for a while. So go to nonprofit.birthfit.com, donate if you can, $5, $10, $50, whatever helps out. If you want to sponsor a podcast, the minimum is $250. And we are more than happy to talk about your business, let people know about your business, as long as it's in alignment with what we do here. We had an amazing donation recently, $500. However, the donor chooses to remain anonymous. So thank you to that donor. Much appreciated. All right. As a reminder, we've got tons of information on the BIRTHFIT website. There's free information. Just go to blogs and start there, birthfit.com, resources. And you'll find blogs at the bottom. If you are interested in our BIRTHFIT Coach course, the early enrollment is happening very soon. That is happening March 1st. Go to our wait list and sign up. All you got to do is go to our website and then go to certifications, and you'll find Become a BIRTHFIT Coach and just sign the wait list there. You'll get to hear from some BIRTHFIT coaches today, which is really rad. And I think the last announcement I have is we may have some live listeners today. So in the past, we have not done podcasts in front of a live audience or given people the chance to be live, to ask questions. So I will be monitoring the chat section over here in YouTube. And towards the last 10 to 15 minutes, we will open it up for any questions. So let's get rolling. I'm going to welcome in Nikki Herrera, Kat Monzon, and Dr. Ashley Harper. Give us a minute to get them in. Woo, look at us all fancy. How are y'all?
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Made it.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Can each of you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear each of you. Yeah? Can y'all hear each other?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Perfect. I'm trying to keep Vera's face out of this because we don't put her face on the Instagrams. But she's here with us. This is the top of her head. Awesome. So let's go around. I definitely want y'all to introduce yourselves. Let people know where you're from and how long you've been a BIRTHFIT coach working in the women's health space. Kind of who, what, why, when about you. Let's start with Nikki. because she's to the right of me, right up top.
Hi. So I'm super honored to be here, by the way. This is very, very cool. I am in Southern California. So I'm in Valencia, which is a suburb right about 40 minutes north of LA. So right on the outskirts of that area. I'm still actually considered LA County. And I have been in the strength and conditioning world training women for, oh my goodness, now let's see, about 22 years, and a BIRTHFIT coach since 2018. So I was fortunate enough to find BIRTHFIT right when it was launching their coaching course. And it just felt very aligned. I tell everybody BIRTHFIT kind of chose me. I didn't really even understand the depths of what I was branching into, and how it would shift my life so profoundly. So this work has been really, really transformational in my life. But because I'm in an area that services a lot of families, a lot of mamas, a lot of people move to this area that commute to LA, that are in the industry and things like that, because they want to have a little piece outside of LA. There's a lot of babies being born all the time. And so it's just been exploded my heart with all the families that I've been able to serve and work with. And I'm in my own space. So I do own a gym, and it is a micro gym setting. So 12 athletes or less is my max capacity for my classes, which creates a really intimate setting for BIRTHFIT. The name of my business is Cave Training, but everybody says like Nikki opened up the cave so she could do BIRTHFIT, and then the cave just kind of built around that. And I would say that's probably 100% true. When the pandemic hit, I was just feeling really called to pull a trigger, and so I opened up my space in May of 2020 with full intention of only providing just what I was doing with BIRTHFIT. And
That's
thought,
so awesome.
well, we'll figure this out. We're going to figure this out. So far we're figuring it out. There's been a lot of bumps along the road for sure. It's been an ever-changing time, as I'm sure you guys are going to all be able to testify to, of the birth world that we're in. I'm now a birth and postpartum doula, so I'm really excited about that. I'm going to be taking on a lot more in that role this year. So it's just been such a journey. So rad.
Yeah, it's been really freaking awesome just to watch from afar. Well, I was sort of close and then moved back to Texas. So yeah, your journey's been amazing. And weren't you at the first seminar?
Yeah.
First ever
Yes.
Seminar. 2017. Yep. That was like January 2017.
It was. Yeah. Yep. It was so, I remember thinking, this is it. This is it. I don't even, and I didn't even think I knew the thing that I was doing the thing. And I'm doing it. It was this crazy calling. I was like, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
And my partner at the time, he was like, you're not doing this. What do you mean you're not going to go? I was like, no, I'm doing it. And I just did it.
That seminar was super special because first of all, it was our only seminar that was 3 days, and it sold out like almost immediately. And then it just felt like so magical and in alignment. And like everybody that was supposed to be there was there. And that's when I knew, I was like, okay, BIRTHFIT, we have to continue this mission. Like it's a thing. Yeah.
It was really special. It's one of the, I say it's one of the most special memories that I have for sure.
Aww. Well, awesome. Nikki, before we move on, where can people find you? Like, what's your website, contact info, social media? Because I know I'll forget that later.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually kind of I run two separate entities of what I do, because I do keep BIRTHFIT sacred and separate from what I do on the regular setting of my gym. So my website is cavetrainingfit.com. And that's where you can get all the general population. And I do work with a lot of my mamas throughout their pregnancy and general population classes. I usually don't transfer them over into my series until the later stages of their journey. And then BabeFit is going to be my work that I do with the prenatal and postpartum. And you can find that babecavetraining.com with the / of BabeFit. And that will direct you right to that page where you can find all the information on what I do. And then on Instagram, BabeFit_SoCal is where you can find all the things that we do here with all the mamas, the babies, and the community that I've built around it too. So working with a lot of chiropractors, I work with other doulas, I work with midwives, a lot of PTs. I've created some really special relationships that lymphatic massage therapists. I mean, it's like a whole village now that we can help each other and really serve these women. So I try to keep everything on that page so it's all really easy accessible. But that's where you can find me. And then I have a personal Instagram too, but I try to keep everything really, really onto that BabeFit page that helps out all the mamas. That's
awesome. You sound very organized.
Not really, but I'm trying to be. And it's actually my weakest link. So as a leader, I would say that that's my weakest link. So I'm working on it.
All right, let's move over to Kat. Kat's in my bottom right. Kat, let everybody know where you're from, what you do. Any news you might, yeah.
Okay, so I'm Kat. I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm laughing. Clearly, I don't ever do this because we're being authentic, right? Here's all my life behind me. Can't even close drawers. But I've been a BIRTHFIT coach since 2017. So I went to the Dallas one. I actually was supposed to go to the one in California, but I became pregnant, I miscarried, and then ended up at the one after that in Dallas. But kind of like what you said, Lindsey, that was the one I was supposed to be at, and we got pregnant again. I think I was pregnant by the time I went to that seminar. Backtrack. So I've been in the fitness industry since about 2010. Used to teach bar class and spin and all different kinds of things. And then I found CrossFit, which felt like the gospel of fitness and changed my life and changed how I viewed fitness. And then the Lord really led me to working specifically with women. So I started women's classes, obviously didn't really know what I was talking about. And I came across BIRTHFIT and I was like, oh, it's, pregnancy and for CrossFit. But going to the seminar, I realized there was just so much more to that. And it really opened my eyes and has evolved me so much just as a individual, but also as a coach. I had my first son when I was a child. I mean, I was like 6 months out of high school when I got pregnant, knew nothing about nothing, ate for two, ate Subway because that's what Jared did. And that was healthy, at the time. And he's 15 now. But since 2017, my husband and I, we're a blended family. We've had 3 together, but I've lived, breathed BIRTHFIT through all of that. So being able to have BIRTHFIT in my life through miscarriage, through pregnancy, 4 pregnancies, because I am pregnant again, 4 pregnancies, but 3 postpartum series, or 4, including that first one. But yeah, so it just really was eye-opening, getting to experience pregnancy, birth, postpartum with BIRTHFIT in my corner, in my background, versus when I was 20 and a kid and had no resources and no information. I wish I had that when I was younger. So anyway, I started doing women's fitness classes, found BIRTHFIT in 2017, went to the seminar and was just all in with it. So I still lead postpartum series. I train women throughout pregnancy and postpartum. And honestly, it just made sense to go down the doula route too, because I was working with women in pregnancy and I was meeting them on the postpartum side and just bridging that gap between the two. So 2018 became a labor doula. So I do that as well. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we're blended. So together we've got 5 kids, right? Yeah. Number 6 on the way, coming in May. So life's crazy. But something that this wasn't necessarily a question, but something I just love about BIRTHFIT is that it's something that's able to help me to keep a part of me throughout all the different seasons. Fitness is a huge part of my life. And I look at it like Elle Woods looks at it, like exercise releases endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands. Like, but BIRTHFIT provides that avenue to be able to do it safely and smartly, if that's even a word, and effectively, just in all the different seasons of life. So yeah, I mean, I love getting to work with women. Like I said, I really feel like God put me on a path to work more with women. I still work with men too, but I get a lot of joy out of working with women. I'm definitely an extrovert, so being around other women and facilitating postpartum series, like it really really gives me life and gets me excited. And I have people from all over Houston come to them. So yeah, we need more BIRTHFIT coaches to offer stuff like that. Like I literally have moms come like an hour away to come do that stuff. Cause they know it's worth it, but I know it'd be nice if it was closer and more accessible to people. So yeah, I don't know if I really answered.
Yeah.
I think that was it.
Where can people find you at? I'm going to throw that in there first. Like contact.
I'm really bad. I have social media. So I have my main handle. Is that what it's called? Instagram. It's TX Yellow Rose. So a blend of like my personal, and that's where I post my series. And then I have a doula page, which I'm also not so great at posting on, but that's Born Free Doula. And then that's about it. I know I'm really bad. I mean, I connect a lot with, chiropractors, midwives, birth centers here in Houston. So I really do a lot more of like word of mouth. Also combination, because we've got a lot going on. Like our oldest is 17. And like I said, we're about to have a baby in May. So another baby in May. So we're all over the place, like diapers and teenagers, which honestly, toddlers and teenagers are like the same thing. We argue about the same thing. But yeah, so it's, yeah.
That's awesome. I love the things you said. We're going to come back to those. You got some really good points. But I want to get Ashley in here. Introduce yourself, Dr. Ashley. Who you are, what you do, where you're at.
Hi, I'm Dr. Ashley Harper. I am in outside of Atlanta, so Ackworth area, Woodstock, Canton. It's like 45 minutes north of Atlanta, so nowhere near downtown Atlanta. But when I'm out of town, I tell people I'm from Atlanta just to make life easier. But I have been a BIRTHFIT coach since 2017. I went to the North Carolina seminar, so it was amazing. Me and my best friends in chiropractic school, we were still students, discovered BIRTHFIT. I forget how we even found it out. I think one of my friends did, and then we were like, this is life. Like, this is amazing.
I remember this now.
Yeah.
Y'all were like the first students.
Yeah, we were. And because we both, all three of us were sports focused chiropractors. But then we had our babies all at the same time. Like all of our babies are a week apart. And we really love like sports and athletics. That's just our background. Because I've been a personal trainer since 2010, group fitness, all those aspects. But we love prenatal care and perinatal, anything that involves kids, babies, pediatrics. And we felt like there was one piece that was missing, and it was the athlete, physical activity, like aspect of it. So when BIRTHFIT, we discovered that, we were like, yep, when's the next one and how soon can we get there? And we all went to North Carolina, and it was amazing. We started doing our own classes like in a local park as soon as we got certified fully. And it was awesome because it was a lot of like moms from our school, because a ton of people were having babies while we were in school. So we weren't the only ones. And then our patients from clinic and stuff. So we started right away. And I'm a chiropractor, obviously. So I specialize in perinatal pediatric care. But I see everybody. But that's my main focus, because there's not many of us, at least in the area that I'm in right now. I'm like the only one that's in this area. So it's been great to come to this community, because I just opened in July. July
When did you graduate chiropractic school?
2018, March of 2018.
Awesome. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then wait, before we move on, where can people find you on social?
I am Dr. Ashley Harper, Dr. Ashley Harper, one word. That's my personal and doctor one. And then I also have our business one, which is Collective Chiro.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to touch on a few questions. Y'all hit on so many good things already. I know Kat mentioned this, Nikki mentioned this, and, you know, Ashley, I know, is involved in like the referral business. Like, how important is it to create a network as a BIRTHFIT coach, to connect with other like-minded professionals, not only for your business, but probably for the moms too? I would just love to hear how like a referral network has been useful in your lives, and anybody can take that and run with it.
It's been, I'll speak of that. It's been huge for me. I was with another practice for 5 years as an associate chiropractor, which was a very big family prenatal pediatric practice. So I opened my own practice in July, and it's been huge. Like, I haven't done any outside marketing besides connecting with the community, doing classes like BIRTHFIT workshops or pelvic floor workshops at different gyms, and just connecting. And like, everyone has just sent people, and then those people send people. So it's like been huge that we're being able to like make such a difference already with only being open for 5 months. And it was the same way at the old practice. So that's where I learned a lot of it, was that it's that connection factor and connecting with like-minded people that are in the same industry. So then you can reach more, because if you're doing a good job and taking good care of someone's gonna, that word of mouth is huge. They're more than likely to come and see you, or work with you in some way, shape, or form, because they got good results as well, and also feel connected, and, you know, like they found their place, which is huge.
Yeah, I would second that. I say it's probably one of the most important things that I did was start developing those relationships, and really developing them, because there's a lot of people too that can unfortunately not come from the most authentic place on that. So vetting that too is really important, because this space is sacred, right? And the space that we hold, I say I'm like the biggest mama bear out there, and I'm kind of known for that, of standing up, really standing up for what I'm doing, and if it doesn't feel aligned or like-minded. But what I've done is built really authentic relationships. So something that was really cool that I started doing too, probably about 1.5 seasons ago now, 2 seasons ago, I started doing community Fridays, or at least every other Friday of my 5-week series, where I bring in those like a chiropractor. Somebody that's been really helpful has been a therapist. So somebody that deals with perinatal, like pre and postpartum depression, OCD, all those kinds of things. She'll come in and talk to the moms. I've done it with a lymphatic massage therapist, the women that I refer to, pelvic floor therapy. She'll come in and speak. And that is huge, because now you're also you're giving back to your community. You're giving them just a little bit of time to hear from these other businesses that can really help them and support them. But I will say, one of the things that has had to happen is I've had to find my people, right? Because there's definitely a lot of people out there that are chiropractors, or, you know, they do what they do, but maybe it doesn't align with our core values, and where that has been really huge for me, is to figure that part out. But it has been definitely huge, because like Ashley, like you said, one becomes another, that becomes another, that becomes another referral. And then, you know, then when you can build up a really good, strong, you know, for lack of a better word, reputation of what you're about and what we're representing as BIRTHFIT coaches and leaders.
Yeah. All of that too. And Lindsey, you kind of said this, but it does help to just kind of create the full package for the moms as you're working with them. And I, for the most part, I feel like try to share with moms what I do myself, right? Like seeing a pelvic floor PT, which I finally saw someone after having baby number 4, because I was like, oh, I've had 4 kids and I keep telling moms to do this. I should probably do this. And I did it. And it was just like life-changing. Like it filled in gaps and holes, pun intended, in my own training that I didn't even realize were there. And I almost, when I came out of that experience at first, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't teach people anymore. I don't know what I'm talking about. And once I like came down off of like that, ledge, I was like, okay, it's just another person that I can connect with. Like BirthFit is this great umbrella of information, but the more people we can connect with, like so specifically like a pelvic floor PT or chiropractor, the more we can funnel that information and customize the programming and the information per moms. So especially when I'm seeing women in that postpartum season, I really encourage women to see a pelvic floor PT. But again, going back to, like being able to share with moms, like, hey, this is what I've done. Like, here's the people that, yes, I would love for you to see, because like I've personally seen them and I've had good success with them. But, I'm not going to pin people to that. But, I like to think that I find people that I want to work with, that I align with, like y'all said, like people that I'm aligned with. And then that way too, if we can create this team of people to support mom, pregnancy and postpartum, then we're all on the same page, and always with mom's permission. Like if she goes to see a pelvic floor PT and we get permission from the mom, now me and the pelvic floor PT can talk with each other. Me and the chiropractors can talk with each other about that mom or woman or, whatever season that they're in. And we can, best work to support her.
Absolutely.
Same with birth, like with other doulas, with midwives, with doctors, with OBs. So yeah, I mean, it just personally creates that network. I mean, you can weed people out too. Like, the people that just want your business versus like they genuinely want to work with you or want to help. And I get it. Like at the end of the day, like it is a business. We do need to make a living. And, but there's that fine balance of that too.
Like, are they truly passionate about serving women?
Yes. Yeah. And come into that realization too of like, I'm not for everybody, I've gone on doula interviews and, it didn't work out. And of course, at first I'm like, well, why didn't they like me? But at the end of the day, like, there's gotta be connections and we're not going to connect with everybody. And like, that's okay. But hopefully we can have resources and other people to help, have that woman feel supported in whatever it is that she's needing. I usually like to tell them like, hey, like I know a small amount about things, but I also know a lot of other people that know a lot more than me. So like when they ask me something, if I don't know, I try to be good at saying like, hey, I don't really know that, but I know this person, or I know this provider, or I know this practitioner, like, let me get you connected with them. And I think that when you work with people, that they respect that too, because people can tell when you're just blowing smoke up their butt, right? Like, so being real with things that and being confident with what but also confident to resource out when you need to.
That's so important. Like, first of all, y'all each hit on like the ripple effect that word of mouth referrals can have, and that's totally how BirthFit started. It was literally like Instagram. I found Instagram when it just started, and I started posting, and then it was word of mouth, just classes in the LA area. Instagram was taking off. People would share the blog, whatever. Not till freaking 2020 shenanigans did I have to like reinvent the actual like BirthFit business and go online. But word of mouth is so powerful, because when somebody trusts you, and all it takes is one person to trust you, then that ripple effect, like there's nothing more powerful than somebody that kind of marketing. That's what I'm trying to say is like their trust in you is like, oh, you've earned that, and that's beautiful. So with any business, it doesn't even have to be BirthFit coaching, chiropractic, PT, owning a market, owning a laundromat, whatever. The other thing y'all talked about was the kind of the umbrella, like, yes, and we still say this in the BirthFit Coach courses, like, we're giving you the foundations for lifestyle practices, fitness, nourishment, even like how to network, build your team, help somebody in your community build a birth team. But each coach or each leader inside of their area has to do the vetting process. Like each said, like, go out and meet these people, because you can tell when they're blowing smoke or not. And having people or referrals in your back pocket for all different types of people. Like you said, Kat, like it may not be for everyone, but you have somebody that could work. Like if a doula gig doesn't work out for you, I bet you have another doula that you refer to and you're like, hey, try this one. Or, same for you, Dr. Ashley, as far as chiropractic. Like if I don't care if you're coming to me for chiropractic, I want you to get chiropractic care. So if I'm not for you, go see this person or try this person. I think that's that abundance mindset we talk about. And it's so powerful. I love it. Before we move on, I want to ask Ashley, Dr. Ashley, there's lots of chiropractic students that still come through the coach course. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your experience being a student and then transitioning into a doctor, like how BirthFit showed up for you, and kind of like what you took, like any secret gains or anything like that you loved along the way.
I definitely think it made me a better chiropractor. I felt way more prepared to work with pregnant women, not only because I've been pregnant, I've had my baby in school, my first child, but also just like being able to connect with people and talk to people about was huge. That transfers into being a chiropractor, because we have to, a lot of people don't know the truth of chiropractic and what it really is. So being able to communicate that well helped a lot with being a BirthFit coach. And then knowing like other things besides, the adjustment's important, but also like you need to have things to give them, to like, you need to move your body this way or try this or try that, like the importance of diaphragmatic breathing and core and pelvic floor and the connection there really helped me be able to like communicate that well to everyone. Even like non-pregnant, like kids, like I've had kids in my class. I've had men. I had 2 men in my class before, and that was just because they like cores were so bad. Like they just like were so open to, they were fine with being in the class just because I had been teaching them stuff with their chiropractic sessions, and they were like, well, if you're doing this class, I might as well come, So it's important for everyone. So I know that helped a lot, and just getting me out there, like starting those classes was huge, because it took me out of my comfort zone. So then I could be out there with the people, because a lot of people that aren't chiropractors don't realize that when we're on our campus, we're in this little bubble of like, we're all organic and like, we love like this. And like, we think everyone's just going to love chiropractic automatically and get it all.
Totally. It's like the CrossFit bubble, gym bubble. Yeah.
What?
It's like the CrossFit gym bubble as well.
Yeah. So it's like this bubble we're in, we don't realize what's going on outside of it and how to actually take care of like real people and not chiropractic people, So that helped a lot. So I knew how to navigate that and connect with people on different levels. So
it's awesome. All right. I think Kat touched on this earlier, but I would love to hear personally, like how BirthFit has impacted you. For example, for me, like I'm somebody that has been BirthFit, and I say that in quotations, for 10 years, and then finally had my baby when I turned 40 this last year. But like living, breathing that lifestyle, I don't think it was just mind blowing. Like I was on an Instagram live yesterday, and I was like, I wouldn't describe my birth experience as painful. Like it was awesome. It was blissful. It was a portal, but I don't think I would have been there had I not had, the BirthFit foundations. I don't think I would have recovered as well as I did had I not been doing the BirthFit basics, the forward training, all of that, So I would love to hear just any kind of personal impact that it's made on each of you.
Well, I'll hop on that. I feel like, at the end of the day, I want to see everybody moving, right? Like, no fitness is bad or better than the other. Like, and
That's so true.
While I love BIRTHFIT and CrossFit, like, while I love that, it's, and you were just kind of saying it, Dr. Ashley, like, how do you get that to people that don't do CrossFit, right? Like, that don't work out. When I come across a mom that wants me to be their doula and they're not exercising, like, how can I encourage them? Hey, how do I bridge that gap of, let's get you moving? Because especially as a BIRTHFIT trainer and a doula, I mean, I've got moms doing stuff that I'm going to have them do in labor. So bridging that gap there. But to more specifically answer your question, I feel like the biggest part where BIRTHFIT has helped me, honestly, is the postpartum season, specifically that postpartum series. After I had my oldest, so he turns 16 in September, if we make it, because he's driving now and it like is so scary. Anyways, we'll make it. But I mean, I definitely had postpartum depression then, but I was just like a kid that had a kid and didn't know what I was doing, and definitely masked it with like not healthy habits. And then fast forward 9 years, I have my second, and it hit me again. Like, and I was so confused because I'm like, I don't understand. I was in control of this. I haven't had to be on medicine or do anything. Like, I've been able to control this depression, and it hit me like out of right field. It was a very humbling experience, and I really believe that God kind of had to have me go through that to get me to where I am now. But BIRTHFIT played such a huge role. Like, Leah used to do the BIRTHFIT postpartum series more, and being able to go to that and be with other women and be with other moms and getting that movement in, I mean, combined with also like seeing a counselor and getting some other help that I needed, but just having that space that you knew was safe to go to and be in, and hearing other moms, like that community piece was just so huge. And that's a big reason why I have such a passion about running these postpartum series now, even if I only get like 4 moms in a series. I usually will pray about in the beginning of the year, like, all right, God, these are the amount of women that I want to have in postpartum series. And I usually hit that number by the end of the year, but some series there'll be like 12 moms, some series there'll be like 4. So it always like evens out. And I really believe that the moms are supposed to be there when they're supposed to be there, and they're small when they're supposed to be small. They're big when they're supposed to be big. But yeah, just that connection is huge. That one of the big hashtags, that BIRTHFIT used to push out, especially, was, mindset, connection, community. And that connection is just so big, like with yourself, with your baby, with other women, the whole, it takes a village, like we need that. And we live in such an isolated world now, especially like post COVID, and this isolates us, like it connects us, but it isolates us. Yeah.
She's pointing to her.
So just having that, the connection with other moms, that postpartum support, and just knowing how to move. Like, I mean, when I first got pregnant, before finding BIRTHFIT, I'm still doing GHD sit-ups, and, to each their own, you're moving, but learning that, like, hey, there's a more beneficial way to move, right? For long-term, like, hey, maybe I could run through 35 weeks, but like, what is that really doing to my pelvic floor and overall health? So just trying to share the knowledge of it too. Like, just because you can doesn't mean you should, all those things. Totally. So it just opened up a lot of just information, right? Because you don't know what you don't know, but you also can't unlearn what you've heard or what you've learned. So when I work with moms, that's what I try to. I just try to share the information, and then you can make the decisions that are best for you.
Yeah, that's all we can do. For sure.
So I don't know. I think that answered.
That you hit on something super important, is that connection piece. And that's always been part of BIRTHFIT. When we used to do the live seminars, we started in a circle holding hands, finished in a circle holding hands. I still miss that. And I think that, like, those are tools, connection, movement, being around other moms, sunshine, outdoors, things like that are used for depression in general. And oh man, just in that postpartum, that immediate postpartum chapter is just so beneficial. And, you know, you sharing your experience and I'm sure each of us have witnessed it. Like, I observed it so many times in Los Angeles where, you know, women would have a tough time, but I just say, get to the 10 a.m. class, get to this postpartum class. The group will basically hold you up.
Yeah.
It's huge. Nikki, want to add anything?
Yeah, no, I would have to say a little bit, piggybacking off that for you, Kat, too, is I was a young mom. So I was 20 years old when I gave birth to my son, and I was an athlete. And then all of a sudden I wasn't, and doing the whole thing, eating the Wendy's like every day, eating for 2, eating for 4 actually. But I became really unhealthy in my pregnancy. Like, it gained upwards of almost 100 pounds. It was insane.
Wow.
I didn't even know who I was. I completely lost myself. I absolutely believe I was dealing with undiagnosed postpartum depression for sure. It was definitely OCD. I was completely disconnected from my body in so many ways. And I think that actually carried on over for quite a bit of time in my life. I believe that BirthFit, what it has done not only for me, is because I live the BirthFit principles. And so it's really helped me with regulating my nervous system. So I've gone through, like, we all go through trauma, right? But I've gone through kind of a lot in this last season of life, especially. And without having the foundations of what I was teaching, because I was, how you be is how you be, right? So I was making sure I was in the practice of all of our BirthFit work and our breath work every day, getting outside. I do daily walks for 30 minutes a day in the sunshine. First thing in the morning, I ground every day. I hardly ever have shoes on. You know, call it the hippie woo woo. I don't care what you want to call it, but it's definitely been something that has shifted me to where I can connect to my body. And so therefore, when I teach this, it's believable, right? Because it's how I be. So the BirthFit lifestyle is so much more than just the BirthFit like title, right? It's really when I explain this to people that come to me and they want to do, you know, they're wanting to get into pre and postnatal work. And I explain to them the importance of why it should be BirthFit versus any other training model. Not that any is good, bad, like you said, all fitness is great. Yeah. I want you moving and breathing, but there are reasons to why this aligned for me and for why I believe in this process and the way that we show up for ourselves and for our communities. And absolutely, Lindsey, what you said of the community does the healing, right? I feel like I'm just the vessel that God's just used me for the leadership role and for the space that I've been entrusted with, and that I'm just the vessel of that. But really where the magic happens is when these women connect and when they've I have women that are like best friends now. The mom groups. They're every birthday. I've gone to several, like I love it so much. Mom's night out. I love watching it. It's made my heart just explode over and over again. And I cannot say enough about what this work does and what it brings about. So yeah, it's pretty transformational for sure.
Yeah. I've had moms repeat the postpartum series. Like they've had first, second, third baby, like they're pregnant. And one of the first questions they ask, like, you know, the baby's due in January. Are you going to have a postpartum series in March? Like, I can't wait to come to this again. And
what a compliment, right? What a compliment to what we're doing. And like, that's to me, when they are excited to come back or when they want to repeat a series, I have that happen too. They've just done a series. Like, well, can I do it again? Yeah. Sure. Why not? Because they just love it so much. And it's funny because some of my clients will say, I loved BirthFit Nikki more than regular Coach Nikki, because she was a lot. A lot different.
Different voice. Awesome. Ashley, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I agree with you guys with the postpartum. It was really, really, really good for me. Definitely after my first and with my second. With my first, I didn't discover BIRTHFIT yet. So I didn't have the principles and the core values or understand what, I was very lost. Prenatal with my first, I was very crazy. Like I was a big CrossFitter. So I was still doing barbell snatches and barbell cleans at 30 plus weeks, pulling it over the bar over my belly just to do them, which was ridiculous. I look back at it now and I thought I was so cool. I have videos of it and I'm like, oh, God, what was I thinking? But definitely the second pregnancy was huge because I did the prenatal series the whole time. And that helped a lot so that I could have a athlete mindset. So I have a hard time slowing down and pushing myself too hard. So it really helped me know, all right, this is what I'm doing every week. It kept me focused on the proper movements I should be doing at this week and this week. And prepared me to have the most amazing home birth, I think. So, and then postpartum was huge because I definitely had postpartum depression with my first, but I don't think I realized it. No one diagnosed me with it, but looking back, I'm like, I definitely did, so it would have been nice to have that. So the second time around, my postpartum was amazing because I did the postpartum series and I had a community and connection, because there's more close coaches near me, which is Dr. Kristen and Dr. Shannon. So they were doing series and stuff so I could go to them and, until I was ready to get back to coaching. So I think every aspect of BIRTHFIT has helped me in my life. And then it helps support the women that I get to take care of every day. So.
Yeah, I've even been able to use it to help support my husband. This hasn't really been broadcasted, but not intentionally, just hasn't. But he's been on a health journey these last few years. And just this 2023, I'd had two pretty major surgeries. One of them was a reconstructive surgery to his kidney. The second one was actually a kidney removal. So he's got giant incision on his side, had 36 staples, but he worked out the other day for the first time post-surgery, and he did day one of the postpartum series.
That's awesome.
And he kind of did this again last summer too, but just how it, yes, we call it BIRTHFIT, but it applies to so much more than just women and birth and postpartum and pregnancy. And, but just talking about connection, it's connected me and my husband even, right? He's seen me go through pregnancy, postpartum, and, while he didn't necessarily birth a baby, he did have, major abdominal surgery, and he's seen me have to go from that recalibrating, multiple times. So he knows that I know what he's going through within reason, to an extent. So he listens to me, right? He actually is listening to the information that I have because he knows that it can help and that it works. But that just makes me laugh that's going to be his workouts right now is BIRTHFIT postpartum series.
No, it's so true. The movement principles are universal. And what we teach in BIRTHFIT and the coach course is each of y'all have said, it can be applied to any population, children, geriatric, post-surgical, whatever. I had a lumbar disc injury and when was this? 2016. It was right before the seminars took off. And I was like, okay, let me see if what we have really works. And, within 6 weeks, I was lifting again. I did the movements. We call them the BIRTHFIT basics now because there's a few more added, but they used to be called the functional progressions. There's 15 movements and poses that are considered the BIRTHFIT basics. And I did those daily. I did the chiropractic adjustments 3 times a week. And, it's amazing kind of the power. So as a chiropractor would say, the power that made the body can heal the body. You just got to give it the right tools. I love BIRTHFIT. Y'all are giving me the chills. All right. So
we love it too.
Good. Good. There's one other question I want to ask, and then I'll get to somebody sent in a question. But each of y'all have been fitness professionals for quite some time before becoming a BIRTHFIT coach.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say, if you're only thinking about the fitness world, is the biggest takeaway that you got from the BIRTHFIT Coach Seminar, Coach course that was lacking in the fitness world? Because all of y'all were seasoned veterans, been through all kinds of fitness before stepping into the BIRTHFIT world.
Lindsey, as it applies to the birth world, or as it applies to general strength, like general population?
Let's say general pop.
Okay.
Or you can go either way, whatever you want.
Yeah. I think for me, the number one thing that has always it's just been ingrained in me now since that series is slow is fast. Like when we work back, and I feel like as an athlete, right, we're not really embedded with that. I played soccer, softball, but competitively soccer, and the slow is fast mentality was never really something that was introduced to me. And it was like, you're an athlete, let's go, let's repair this. It's time to, you got to move. And I think really learning that principle of slow is fast in everything, right? Not just like on the gym floor, but even in our healing and our personal journeys and where we're working through things. The faster we try to push through something without taking the time to maybe check into why maybe the injury happened or what part of the body is injured, but we can work and heal the other parts to strengthen, right? So when something is, if you broken, we can keep moving our body and strengthen the other things around it while that is healing, but let that healing happen. And I just really, that one really, really sticks with me. And so I really try to teach that principle to all my athletes, BIRTHFIT or general pop, of like, hey, this is like, we're going to get there, take the time and slow it down a little bit. I feel like we just do not get that gift very often.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. I think the core aspect of everything was huge. I definitely was teaching it wrong for so long, I felt like, or at least how I was taught, I have NASM certification, which I'm nothing knocking, but just the old ways of strengthening core and abs and what the core actually is, educating, being more educated on that. And all aspects of it.
Well, that got me too. When I initially found out, I was like, wait, we didn't learn this in school?
I know.
What the hell?
Yeah. And then the diaphragm, the pelvic floor connection, all of that, and just the importance of your breath has changed every dynamic of how I train or teach anyone, no matter what I help with fitness. My family has always randomly reaches out and wants, can you build me a plan or whatever? And I'm like, I love how they think it's so easy. You can just whip it up. But I'm always they're like, what's the best way to get a 6-pack and strengthen my abs? And I'm like, they get so annoyed with I'm like, well, I need to start with the breath first and everything. They're like, I'm like, but that's important. It can't.
They don't want to hear that.
Move. What?
They don't want to hear that.
I know. They don't want to hear it. But it's so important. So I think that was a huge takeaway that has transferred how I train people ever since then. So
definitely just the information, why we want to breathe this way, why we want to move this way, right? Instead of just just do this and this will happen, right? Okay. But when you start explaining the why, the pros, the cons, the risks, the benefits, and just understanding that full picture, it's like, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. Okay, now that's what I'm going to do. So just like I said before, when I first signed up, I was like, oh, it's just CrossFit for pregnancy, right? I'm going to learn how to, work out pregnant. But
we tricked you. We got you in the door.
I know, but it was that, but it was also so much more.
Yeah.
So just the why behind things really, really helped. Me, and open that door to dive into more whys, right?
Totally.
So yeah.
Love it. All right, I got one other question, and then we'll wrap, because this has been so fun, and I really appreciate y'all doing this, taking time from your busy day. If someone just found out they were pregnant, this is literally a question I got via text. What would be your one piece of advice? Like maybe they signed up for your series, or they're a member at your gym, or they're one of your chiropractic patients. What's the first thing you would tell them? Ready, go.
Let's get together. Let's get together. Let's talk.
That's a good answer, Kat. Way to go.
Yeah. I want to put my hands on you. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, I would say let's talk about your like all the things. Like let's talk about where, your team. Let's build a plan. I always want my women, when they first tell me that they're pregnant or they're expecting, or even when the husbands come and tell me, I'm always like, yes, let's talk. Let's figure this out. Let's figure out, let's do all the things. It's exciting, but yeah, I think I like that, Kat. That's good. That's
a great answer.
Yeah. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Well, I feel
agree
like,
with that.
oh, sorry. No,
Go ahead.
I was
Go ahead,
just gonna
Kat.
say, hopefully you've already developed, like it's someone that you've already got their trust, right? But what if it's someone you've never met them before and they're reaching out and telling you they're pregnant? If I just lay into them and I'm like, go see the chiropractor, go find a midwife, go do this, go do that, go do that. But if I can get in front of them, and start sharing my experience, all that kind of stuff, you build that trust, and then they're more willing to hear those other things.
Yeah.
Right. Or especially being a BIRTHFIT coach. So like training, if I can get them in the door to start moving with me, and then that relationship builds, and then I start layering in that other stuff. As we build that relationship, they start to trust me, and they trust the things that I have to, for some reason, they start to trust me in the things I have to say, which goes back to the whole network of people we have, right? We want to be able to make sure we're referring them to the right people. But
it's awesome. Ashley, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I agree with all that. Just listening, like I would ask them like, what, I ask this with all the prenatal patients I take care of, is like, what do you see your pregnancy being like? What do you see your birth being like? What do you see your postpartum looking like? And just kind of like, sometimes they don't even know how to answer the question.
Yeah.
But it at least opens that up to them, so they understand like, oh, the things I should, maybe I should think about this. Or even if they have no idea, then I can be that guide for them, and then connect them with other people that can help them to create that pregnancy and that birth and that postpartum that they would love to see, and even if it doesn't go the way as planned, because that's life, we can still build a network around them where they feel supported no matter what way or direction it goes. So
absolutely. Oh, I love that. All right. Anything else any of you want to add before we sign off? This has been a really awesome discussion, and we might have to do it again at the end of the year, because I think, once people listen, then they have more questions. But this is a great way to kick off 2024. Anyone want to add anything else? No. I appreciate y'all so much. I'm so honored to have you as BIRTHFIT coaches.
Thank you for having us, Lindsey.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Lindsey.
Well, happy New Year. Enjoy January. And we'll talk soon. Or hopefully I'll get to see y'all one of these days.
I know.
All right. Bye, y'all.
All right. Bye, you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.